Hello, welcome back to our channel, the Sarah channel, which officially has gone over a milestone that we think is wild. We think it's out of control. We do.
10,000.
Subscribers.
That's a big number. 10,000 subscribers. What? Oh my gosh.
Thank you for everyone subscribing and enjoying the content and continuing to enjoy the content. We think it's wild, but we're just making more content. You know, the number is wild and out of control. And
it inspires us to make more content.
Yeah, we love it. And I literally never thought I would get to that number either. Like,
I know.
That's like a milestone number. That's like a milestone.
She's blushing. We're both blushing.
I know. So thank you, everyone. We want to say that, and I'm going to admit something right here. I think the title of this video is going to be a little bit of clickbait, and I do apologize for that. But
you're not supposed to admit clickbait.
I know, but when you admit it, it makes it a little bit better. That's the way I kind of think about it. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then I really just kind of wanted to make a short video kind of talking about the game, Arsenal versus Chelsea game that happened on Sunday, and then a little bit about an interview Viv did with a magazine, or a publication.
Okay.
So the first thing I want to talk about, we weren't going to talk about long about it, but Arsenal v Chelsea. As we know, they played on Sunday, and as we know, Tobin was not going to be participating in this game. So this was not going to be, she wasn't going to play. But still, I remember when I talked about, was I going to be able to wake up at 6:30 in the morning? Yeah, that didn't happen.
You fell asleep on the couch.
I did.
Then I got up to go to the bathroom, and I said, Sarah, go to bed. And I looked at it was 6, and I was like, oh, she's missing the game.
I missed the game, but I did watch it on replay.
And I was like, there's no way I'm staying up.
But I think when Tobin starts, maybe I'm just bad at waking up. A lot of people in the comment section said, nope, they just always woke up no matter what. They just made sure they woke up. So
those are diehard fans.
So what I did want to talk about, though, I was very pleasantly surprised, but was I surprised? Not really. But I think a lot of people thought Chelsea was going to win this game, but they didn't. Arsenal won. Arsenal won, and they actually played at Emirates, the place where the men's team plays. They played at Emirates, and that was a big deal too. Not only did they play there, the fans, there's a lot of fans there. Which was nice to see because, you know, all last season pretty much they didn't have any fans in the stadium. For some of the games, for some of the teams, I feel like at the beginning of the season they did, and then the fans went away again.
Yeah, who posted about, was it Beth Mead? She posted something. One of the players posted, like, this is the first time in, like, a long time, or a couple years or something, that they're playing in front of their family and other fans, you know? Which is
so good to say because
crazy.
The NWSL, they've had fans at their places, and then when they had their friendlies, they had fans at their friendlies. But I know in England they haven't, so that was exciting to see for the players. We're gonna get into it, but when they scored, when Viv scored, when Beth scored, I mean, it was a roar of a crowd. It was so excited. Don't make fun of me.
You're just so good with those words.
So, they won 3-2. Viv scored. I mean, that was a pretty goal.
It was a hot goal.
A hot goal. Only Viv could do those little maneuvers with her feet. I mean, it was amazing. Beth Mead scored twice. And I will say, a lot of people think her second goal was offsides.
Ooh, controversial.
And there's no VAR in the WSL, so was it?
Hey, that can work in your favor.
Yeah, I know.
Like
there's good and bad with it. But so 3-2, and I'm looking at the stats, and I mean, I didn't realize this, but Chelsea had 60% of the possession to Arsenal's 40%. Chelsea had more passes. They had more pass accuracy. They did have more fouls, and Arsenal had more yellow cards. So.
It sounds like a wild game.
Arsenal had more offsides. So based on the numbers, it looked like Chelsea maybe should have won. But I will say Fran Kirby didn't start. Sam Kerr didn't start. They came in later in the game. And then Sam Kerr almost had a header goal. It was kind of pretty, but she just was like a couple inches off. Love seeing the fans back. Oh, and then the new coach of Arsenal, Jonas E. That's what I call
Jonas or Jonas?
They pronounce it Jonas.
Oh, I forgot we're American.
Yeah.
Joe Bros, y'all.
He is out of control. He was jumping up like I don't even know, like Santa Claus was there.
Yeah, I was going to say like a kid on Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was out of control in a good way. So he was super excited. You know, because some of the times the coaches want to play it cool. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Giddy little kid.
Giddy, exactly. Giddy. So he was out of control. So I'm so happy Arsenal won. And then they said at the end of the game, it said it's a first defeat away from home in 5 years for Chelsea. So it was a pretty big deal that they won. And that kind of goes into kind of the article we're going to read. So as we know, Viv scored the very first goal, and it looked great. I mean, it's a classic Viv maneuver, and no bones about it. But she did this interview with the with the Guardian or with the Observer. So this is kind of where the clickbait's going to come in. My clickbait's going to be something like Viv Miedema not excited for Tobin Heath, because we're going to read a little bit of this article, and the joke is in the article. So that's going to be the clickbait. Sorry about everyone who maybe clicked on it for that clickbait.
I'm going to be scared about this video then.
Yeah.
I'm going to be scared to click. Vivianne Miedema. With our new signings, Arsenal can surprise people. Arsenal have signed World Cup winner Tobin Heath and other star names, and they will help lift the pressure on Miedema. To be honest, I'm not really excited for any USA players to come into our team, says Vivianne Miedema, deadpan in tone but with a wry smile. It would just remind me of the Olympics. Ooh, what a crushing heartbreak.
No.
The Women's Super League record goal scorer is speaking shortly after the announcement that Tobin Heath, the two-time World Cup winning forward, will be joining her at Arsenal after a season with Manchester United. At the Tokyo Olympics, Miedema scored 10 goals and was the tournament's top scorer, but the Netherlands exited at the quarterfinal stage, losing on penalties to the US, who also got the better of them in the 2019 World Cup final. Miedema missed the first penalty, but had scored twice in normal time. It was disappointing to go out in the quarters because more was possible against the US, and we didn't manage to finish them off. Miedema and her teammates had heard Heath would be joining the Gunners, but they were told on the morning the club revealed the Arsenal fan had signed. If you look at her experience and what she's done in football, it is amazing to have someone like that at the club, said Miedema. On the pitch and off the pitch, she's going to help us. She'll definitely bring something extra and something special to the team. Heath will not be available to play against the defending champions Chelsea and Arsenal's Women's Super League opener on Sunday, but the American is not the only creative talent to have arrived. Arsenal, who may have appointed the Swede Jonas to succeed Joe Montemurro as manager, have been busy. The England forward Nikita Paris, Frida Manom of Norway, and Japan's Mana Iwabuchi have been signed. Mana is one of my best mates off the pitch, but she's also one of the only players in my career where within a session at Bayern that click was there, said Miedema. We just understand each other. We feel each other and form an individual perspective that's going to help me this season. The arrival of these players to assist the front line helps the pressure on Miedema, who has been heavily relied on as Arsenal have struggled with lack of squad depth and numerous injury crises in recent years. I have played every single minute last season, which at one point became quite a lot, she said. For us to make a couple of signings that can also play either as a 9 or we switch things around is nice for me. We needed that quality. Everyone saw last year that we weren't good enough, and with the signings we have made, I hope we can surprise a lot of people. The new players have helped to raise the level in training, but it is also a case of finally having a squad of 18 fit players, she says. We haven't had that in three and a half years, which is really frustrating, and it is hard to then continue to train at a certain level. And with the new coach coming in, almost every single player feels like they need to prove themselves again to be able to play. The signings have come after an extensive interval review of the women's setup, which has led to an increased investment, more medical and operations staff, a nutritionist, and the introduction of an individual development coach, as well as increased access to facilities at the club's London Colony training ground and plans to build a new women's football building.
You can see that changes have been made. We can also feel we need other changes to happen. And it's not a done project yet, but hopefully it's going in the right direction, says the 25-year-old. Having players involved in these decisions is vital. We need to perform on the pitch, and last season and the season before that, we've probably been too busy trying to take care of things off the pitch. With more people in place, hopefully they can improve and that we can focus on what we need to do on the pitch. Another result of the review is that Sunday's match with Chelsea is the first of a number of fixtures being played at the Emirates Stadium this season. Arsenal are one of the few WSL teams not to have hosted the women's team at the club's main stadium. It's good, but it's also about time, says Miedema. If not now, then when? We're happy that we get to play here, but sometimes we should be expecting those things a lot sooner than when they happen. We have spoken about that with the club, and I'm happy that it is finally happening. With 1 year left on her contract, Miedema is still open about her future at Arsenal. I've always said to the media, to the club, to everyone, what I expect from myself, but also from the club, in which direction they need to head in. At the moment, it is promising with the girls coming in, she says. We've got a better squad than we had last season, and I will take it from there. I'm not going to make a decision right now, and as long as I've got an Arsenal shirt on, I'll give everything and everything for the club. Everyone knows that even this summer, I would have been open to something. Going into the season, I'm open-minded. I hope it's going to be a great season because it would make the decision a lot easier. But if not, then we'll need to move on. So it was a pretty long article. I'll link it down below. But first of all, it wasn't clickbait. Kind of was clickbait, but she wasn't happy to see any Americans at any time, pretty much.
I mean, the way they did her at the Olympics,
yeah,
I would agree.
She's not ready for Americans. I mean, personally, yes, but
too
not
soon.
Too soon, exactly. So she, based on the article, it sounds like. Based on this article, it sounds like she talked to the bosses themselves and said, "We need more people on the front line. We need more goal scorers."
More help.
Yes,
yeah.
And I think that's very interesting, and that's probably one of the main reasons she didn't go anywhere is because she said to Arsenal, "I need this, I need that. Are you going to make this happen? So I want to stay." If she stayed, she wanted to do it in the way that she knows that the team was going to win, that she's going to have more support. I mean, she played a lot last season, she said. So to say, and the fact that Arsenal that made it sound like they were finally more investing into the women's team, which to me is also kind of strange considering Arsenal is one of the major clubs in the whole entire world, but they're finally investing in the women. That's a little strange overall, just because you would think the bigger the club, the more investment they would have for every part of the club, not just the men.
Yeah, I puffed at that. I puffed.
So it sounded like she was happy with what they were doing. Just, they got a nutritionist. They have more access to trainings. They have our training facilities. Now they're playing at Emirates Stadium. It's not going to be a outlier. It's going to happen more often. So, at the end of the day, she wanted to play there. And also, I mean, if she wanted to leave, she could have left, but she says next year is when she has to decide if her contract is up next year. I think there's a good possibility she won't stay at Arsenal, only because a lot of times players like to move around.
Right. Yeah.
To see what else is out there. But we'll see. So sorry about the clickbait. That was 100% clickbait. And it sounds like she's specifically excited about the new players coming in. It's exciting to have fresh people on the team too. And I can't wait for Tobin.
New girl in school.
I know. I can't
kid in school.
Wait for Tobin to slip right in there. And they're all about winning. They all want to win, being serious, staying fit. I mean, those are sometimes intangibles you can't predict too, staying fit.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. Questions, comments down below. What did you guys think? And we will talk to you guys soon. Talk later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.